Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the next terrifying episode of Random Rhapsodies, Sonnet of Blood. I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master for this Curse of Strahd playthrough. And joining me around my virtual table tonight are Brandie, Dyto, Joe, Marty, and Natalie. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Now, before we begin, we do have a few announcements to get through, starting with the first of our two sponsors for tonight's show, Hero Forge. Marty?
Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop miniatures with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect miniature online using a fully 3D, in-depth character creator right in your web browser, which is where we built our tokens for this evening's game. You can build your own today at heroforge.com.
Thank you, Marty. Our second sponsor for tonight's show is XSplit. XSplit is a high-quality virtual webcam background remover that works with your already existing webcam. Using this program, you can protect your privacy while you work or play remotely by blurring the background, removing it entirely, or even putting your favorite picture in the background instead. You can download the app today at xsplit.com, and if you use a coupon code RANDOM with a capital R, you can get 10% off your purchase. You can find our referral link in the show description. Last but not least, this upcoming Monday, we have the campaign wrap-up of the Fab 5 campaign. It's been a 3-year-long campaign, but we're winding it down at last, and we're going to find out a little bit of what our heroes envision for their futures. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time, and other than that, the following Wednesday we have Magi Nights and not Echo from the Stars, Magi Nights, the Dreams of Infinity campaign. That is at 6 p.m. Central, this upcoming Wednesday, 1 week from today. Now, you can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we're doing by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_Rhapsody and also on Blue Sky as Random Rhapsody. And that's going to do it for the announcements. So join us as we return to the land of Barovia and continue on with the Conclave Expedition as they attempt to survive a Sonnet of Blood. And we're back. So by now you should know how we do our recaps, by offering up the Random Rhapsody coin, which is good for a nat 20 in this horrible, hellish landscape known as Barovia. Now, if I do the recap, I'm getting the nat 22, and I really want to use it. I've been waiting to use a nat 20 for a while now. But nobody really wants me to have that, and that's fair. That's that's a valid decision in Curse of Strahd, so I understand. So, with that in mind, who's doing the recap this week?
I am.
Okay. Well, Cog, what happened last time on Sonnet of Blood?
Wow. It was a very interesting evening we had. A very handsome gentleman showed up with some of his puppy friends the night before to say hi. Yes, and he brought a dead body with him, which wasn't that cool. He took the boy, which I was. I was glad he wasn't talking anymore, but we can't let the boy go. Delphine decided to put her hands on me before that. Don't do that again. But we decided to gather our shit, make our trek. We had to hide poor Ismark because I do want to inter his body at some point. Luckily, we were able to do that. And we made our way to the Hags windmill, which is actually ours. I have the documented paperwork that it belongs to me. Us. I will not take it on my own. A mage hand wouldn't carry me. I see what you put there. I'm too fat for a mage hand. We showed up, and the ladies tried to go up and sneak to see if they could get close to the tower. And that pesky little bastard goblin, I don't remember who it was. He saw somebody, and he called out for his friends, the Hags. Well, they come out, and they, it's that age-old saying in Laropa, fucketh around and find out. And, well, they found out. I mean, except for, I think, one of us going down briefly, coming back up, well, I think we got out pretty unscathed, and did we kill all three of them people? I don't remember. I think we got the third one as they were trying to get away.
Not quite.
No, we did let one go. Okay. Well, she'll die sooner or later. Don't worry about that. But we killed Mama. We killed that ugly Toby. And things are looking up. And yeah, so now we're just kind of the aftermath. We're cleaning things up. We're looking around for some fun shit. And yeah, we had fun. Killed some hags. Oh, and by the way, Cog was right. Everybody should know that. I was right. Everyone should know I was right. Just want to...
the delusions of the old men. But there you go. There's the random Rhapsody coin. Don't forget to use it. It's only going to last the session. Okay. Well, Expedition members, let's get some music going on right here. So, as Cog said, Mrs. Morgan and her daughter Bella now lie dead at your feet. As does the plant-like construct that you once knew as Toby the Goblin. Ophelia Morgan, the third hag of the coven, had fled. She disappeared into the ethereal. But, as she was doing so, she did also swear revenge on your group. Now, Delphine, you, with your knowledge of hags, would be aware of the fact that it does take a while for a hag to make another baby hag, so chances are she's not going to be back tomorrow afternoon. But there is that still kind of hanging over your head. But
I have a question.
Well, 1 second.
Okay.
For the moment, at least, the area around the windmill is quiet, and you all don't seem to be in immediate danger. So, the question I was getting ready to ask Expedition members was, what are you planning on doing next? But, Danika, you do have a question, so go ahead.
How does a hag make a baby hag?
Well, you see, a mommy hag and a daddy hag who love each other. I have no idea.
They usually eat
One of those
them and
things doesn't
gestate
exist.
them in their stomach.
Okay, I was gonna go for something silly, but you went gross.
No, that's how
Real?
it's done.
That's how it's done.
That's
All right,
that's one,
Gygax.
that's one of
what
the-
the hell?
that's one of the versions. In Van Richten's guide for Hexbloods, another way to make a hag is through a ritual.
Mhm.
But in the original way, yeah, they swallow the child and they basically have a pregnant belly until it's
Gary-
ready to be spit
Sorry.
out.
Someone needs to go back in time and see if Gary Gygax was okay. Just, I think he had some horrible things happen to him to come up with that.
It was the 60s, I'm just saying. But yeah, so not all that great. But as you're all most of you are standing around looking at the three dead bodies. Urzak has rushed into the windmill and has basically charged his way up some stairs to the 3rd level, which I will go ahead and show you on the map, because you know how much I love my maps. But on the 3rd floor, you would would see, Urzak, that as you come charging up the staircase, there is a big row of cages, wooden wall cages with thin metal bars on the front. They look more like kennels than anything else, but they're all stacked up. There's about half a dozen of them all stacked up in one corner. And as you immediately go running towards those cages looking for Davos, you see, well, there are 3 children in the cages in total. 2 of them are ones you've never seen before, and the 3rd, is practically hog-tied with a gag in his mouth. Has been tied up and restrained, and is kind of lying there looking at you with just this fierce, determined expression on his face. You clearly recognize Davos in the 3rd cage.
Again,
That's our boy.
that's the answer the whole time. Why didn't we think of that?
I grab him and none of the rest of them.
You rush over to the cage, ripping it, like just grabbing onto the bars and yanking, giving it an athletics check.
Please fail this. This is so
would be
comical
funny.
if the biggest guy fails.
That would last so long.
I have a +8 to this.
Oh, please,
roll
please,
good.
dear baby Jesus, let it
Nat
fail.
1.
No, it's not optimal. It's a 15.
No, 15's fine. You grab it and yank. It's not hard to rip it off of its hinge. And you pull young Davos up and sit him down in front of you. Do you actually ungag him? Is my question.
Yeah, I think so.
You pull his gag off, and immediately he just goes into this litany. I told them that you would be here to rescue me. I said so over and over again, and they would not listen. They put the gag in my mouth. They tied me up because I tried to fight them when I realized where I was, but I kept telling them over and over again that you would be here and you would rescue me.
Joe has his headphones on.
I hate that voice you do for him so much. Even
I
more
have
so
him-
than
I have him, I think-
Toby.
I have him by the shoulders, and like while he's talking, I just take him and just bring him in and just like hug him tight. And I'm like, next time, keep your mouth shut.
Damn, dude. Get dark on him.
we turn our attention to the rest of the team outside the windmill, staring down at the two hags and the odd construct that you had just defeated. Now, pretty much the moment Urzak went charging into the windmill and the hags had died, they started to change. The vision that you are seeing of them, of just kind of old-looking women, dissolves away, revealing odd-looking, somewhat humanoid, but more distorted than not, figures. Their skin is kind of green and blotchy and covered in large boils. Their flesh is leathery at the same time, but you can also see, like, from the tips of their fingertips going up to their wrists, from the tips of their nose and ears going inward on their face, their flesh seems to be changing and going in a dark purplish color. You can see the facial features are of a woman, but they're elongated and distorted in very horrific ways. Like, this is some Cronenberg type shit that you're looking down on right now. And, like, oh god, what's that? The Witches. You remember the movie The Witches?
Oh my God,
where
yes.
they turn the kids into mice?
Mice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, go see it. It's an amazing movie, and it's a Jim Henson,
awesome.
I believe. And the prosthetics they do is just perfect for what a hag looks like. Super elongated features, the nose, the chin, the ears. But while in the center is green, like the Wicked Witch of the West, you can see this dark corruption starting to eat away at their outer extremities, going inward, making them look just much more horrific looking as you're gazing on them. The construct, Toby, on the other hand, seems to be desiccating, drying up. What was once looking like plant-like and fibrous is starting to become much more leathery in appearance. Those long vine-like appendages of his arms you can still see like the thorns coming out from all over the place, but the long tendril is just like kind of drying out and turning leathery. It's an odd sight, to be sure. But my question now to you all is, what you got going on? What is your plans now that you have successfully taken the windmill?
Well, I guess we could search them for things. Search the windmill for anything interesting, and then set it on fire.
I like this idea. Danika, do you have the shatter spell by any chance?
I do have the shatter spell.
Could you? How big is a shatter spell?
Let's go look.
It's only like a 10-foot, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, 10-foot radius.
Okay, never mind. I'm not going to have you waste all of those spells.
Well, so here's the thing I will also remind you. During the battle, the hags, when they blasted Urzak with lightning, they also blew a hole in the side of the windmill open. So there is structural damage already.
I want her to destroy the ritual ring in the back.
Oh, okay. You weren't thinking the way I was thinking, so never mind then. I thought you were like trying to take down the windmill.
No, I like setting it on fire. I like that idea.
We just clean it up and use it for ourselves.
But do we really want?
There's a lot of pain and ghosts here, buddy. I I couldn't in good conscience keep this place going. Just think of how long they've been making those cakes. It could be centuries. Who knows?
Character anyway. I'm on like the third floor.
Yeah.
Is there like a window up there?
Well, you could have.
There is. Yeah, there is a window up there.
Okay.
You would be able to see.
I'm sure it's.
I look out the window down at everybody and I go, I found him. I'm sure you heard.
Cog would be taking notes and like drawings of the hags and Toby and stuff like that. He might even clip off a part of like the fibrous branch part of Toby just to study and bring home. But after that, I'd say just put them in a pile, or we could put them in the thing later and burn them.
Well, about that, you said there's like really long.
You're kind of cutting out, Brandie, just so you know.
And we know Matt's in the same room as you, but we're not.
Yeah.
I was saying, I was gonna go look at Toby because you said there's like some long, thorny tendrils coming off of him.
Yeah, both of the arms are long, vine-like appendages that are at least a good 3 to 4 feet long. As you go over and check them out, give me a survival check.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not.
Cog's like doing notes and stuff on him. Could he give her advantage on that? Let her roll again since
I'll
he's
allow it.
getting up and close, personal, and studying him.
17's better.
Okay, 17 is a lot better. So, between Cog's knowledge of plants and anatomy and just all the stuff he's studied for all of his years in the Conclave, and you, who has trained under Falderal and who taught you not only about crafting and working with your firearm, but how to make other things as well. The two of you are kind of looking down at those arms, and you're fairly certain, Vide, that with some effort and some crafting luck, you could probably take one of those and craft it into a whip. Cog, you know that this thing is a magical construct, so the parts of it are magical, and as Vide is sitting there kind of laying out his idea of transforming these into a whip, you kind of get the idea that chances are this is going to be this could be used as a fairly powerful weapon.
Oh, I see what you're going there. I mean, the big guy's gonna love it. But yeah, this could work on enemies too. I mean, just nothing. Nobody's giving me anything.
We're all just shaking our head at this point.
I appreciated it.
And I guess he would get to work and help her, do whatever he needs to help her remove whatever she's wanting to, or Vide is wanting to do.
Okay. Well, the two of you could work together on that for a little while, like just removing the parts that Vide will need. Well, it won't take too long. It'll take probably an evening's work to put this whole thing together, Vide. But if you have some downtime, you could absolutely do it.
I guess when they're done with that, if he ever brings the children out, Cog would go over and just start assessing the children's health and looking them over, making sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, I imagine Urzak, by the time the two of them are finished examining the bodies, I do need some investigation checks just in the area as well. So that could probably be Danika and Delphine. Urzak, opening the other two cages, you would be able to find out that The two other children are Livius, the boy, and Tereska, the girl. The two of them tell you that they are from Jova Village as well. And they arrived for pretty much the same circumstances that Davos had been taken.
Are they like around the same age as Davos? Are they older, younger?
They both look a little bit older. Davos is like 5. He's very young, but the elder boy, he tells you that he is 8 years old, and the little girl, she holds up this many.
Yeah, I think Urzak comes out with Davos in tow and goes, hey, so I know we came for the one child, but surprise. And there's 2 more children.
There is that. Yeah.
Delphine would have went and got the hag that was trying to run away and her broom once she knew the dog.
Okay, so...
Drag her back. I got a 19 on my...
Okay. So of the 2 hags that are dead, as you examined them, for the most part, they don't have a whole lot of stuff on them. Most of which that they do have, like, they have their own spell focuses for their magic. They're kind of corrupt, nasty-looking things made of bone and feathers and different gook that you probably don't want to touch. They do have, like, cantrip materials and things like that. With your 19, you do find that broom. It is lying in some tall grass near the edge of the property. You also check over the 2 hags. The one who was Mrs. Morgan is draped in a very fine coat, a cloak. It's dirty and kind of covered in grime, but underneath it looks pristine. Bella Morgan, she's wearing a robe covered in a bunch of patches.
I will eventually cast Identify on these. It may take some time.
It will take some time if you're wanting to sit down and do that right now, but it also sounds like Vide has some work ahead of him as well. So I guess my question is to everybody is what's the plan here? Are you going to spend some time at the windmill? Or are you kind of loot the place, check the whole thing top to bottom, and then if you're going to do so, what's the plan from there? Are you going to be sticking around the windmill for a while, or are you planning to head out again?
I would say we could probably, because we slept through the night and then woke up early, so it was like maybe mid-morning when we got here, right?
Yeah, it's about mid-morning right now.
So I would suggest to the group, I was like, we'll make sure the children are
afternoon,
fine.
Actually, it's it's noon. It's about noon right now.
We'll stay here through the rest of the day, and we'll try and find a spot here, stay the evening, then we leave in the morning. Make sure that hag, that third one, the one that got away, make sure she doesn't come back. And then we can make our way back to, the place we were. And we got to get rid of these children. Not in a bad way, for anybody just accuses Cog of something.
We can beeline it for
the Abbey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Dyto forgot the name of the town.
It's probably the the best bet is to make for the Abbey now.
Well, I'll go ahead and throw you up on
Can we
the...
pull out the map?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You gotta sing the map song, don't
Yeah,
you?
you do. You gotta sing the map song.
On the map,
Since you
on
said
the
it.
map, on the map, on the map.
I'm the man.
Thank you, Marty. I don't know the song.
It's really not hard. He just says I'm the map like 16 times.
I thought it was 17.
Oh, I just remember there's actually the words to that song.
There are actually lyrics to it, but we won't get into that right now. I pinged you where you are on the map. You can see the windmill right there. The nearest village would be Veros, which is literally on the other side of the woods between you and it.
And the Abbey's in Algiba all the way over here.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you do know that the Sauvage road leads right through Veros on its way to Algiba. And as you've recently discovered, taking the scenic route tends to be dangerous. So there is all that to consider as well.
If we start out in the morning, we should be able to make it to Veros by nightfall following the road. Find a place to spend the night there.
Are we
And then
talking
just
like the next
to get
day,
to-
or are we leaving immediately?
No, I like Cog's idea of staying the night here, making sure the kids are all right.
And that gives us time to, like, for me to work on the whip and, make sure everybody's rested up. I don't know how many spells everybody has left.
I have one.
So, I mean, I'd
I've got a few.
might be smarter to have a full set of spells on our hands, though.
Would be nice. The categories.
And we can also see if this place has any food. We can build up our rations since we've got 2 extra mouths to feed.
Man, it'd be the greatest thing to eat the food here.
We might have extra pies.
One of the kids is missing a foot. You might get a pie, It's like, oh,
I've
hey.
got 7 rations.
Does Davos have all his toes?
You probably should make a medicine check to take a look at the kids, shouldn't you?
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's like Cog would definitely check them out and give them a once over.
I'll give you a help action on that.
Make sure they're, they're right in rain.
Make sure they have all 12.
Oh my God, it's a 1 and a 2.
Wow. So Cog, you go up to check out these children, and you're like feeling them and checking their pulse, and you are convinced that they are zombie children. They're already dead.
He's not that bad. He's gonna look at Urzak here. It's give the old, kids. Shit, I don't have any 3rd level or. I do mass healing word, but I mean, I guess, is anybody really hurt from the fight? 2.
No.
I'm pretty good.
What about Irina?
I'm checking right now.
I can take care of myself.
You gotta watch it when you say stuff like that around me, because it's just gonna be another joke.
Irina's actually fine. She healed
Okay.
herself up the last
Yeah, I
session.
remember.
Just literally, I don't know how to talk to you.
I mean, I could do my little preserve life channel divinity thing, but it spreads out stuff amongst people, and I mean, are the kids, they're all full hit points of 5 hit points or whatever they got?
So yes, just to alleviate our audience's concern, the children are fine. They actually are kind of overfed right now. The hags have been fattening them up. So other than the fact that like they haven't been out of the cage in several days and are kind of filthy and that sort of thing, they're in relatively decent health.
Is there a source of water anywhere on the premises?
Yes, there is. There is a small well towards the back of the property.
I mean, if not, I do have, and I did slate it for today, create and destroy water. So I could always just fill up a basin with them so we could start, bathing them.
Yeah.
Or at least cleaning them up. Yeah, I mean, he'd do that. He'd do that instead of doing that smelly ass fucking whatever water they got.
Okay. You would be able to find a relatively large cooking pot in the bone grinder that you could clean out and fill with water that you could heat up and bathe the children. Davos spends his entire time chattering nonstop, telling the other two children about how he was right and your party was going to show up to save them all, and he talking about how he knew that you all would kill the hags and yada yada yada, and it's just a constant stream of chatter. He's been validated in his mind. One thing that does pop out that as Cog you're cleaning them up along with probably I don't know who else would be helping along with that, but the kid does mention that he heard when he came to, he was in a cage. He doesn't remember anything about what happened, how he got there. He just woke up there and realized he was there, saw the hags, and then started yelling about how you all would come to rescue him. But he does tell you that he heard them saying that they were expecting you all to come, that the Great Lord had warned them of your impending arrival. And so they are making some preparations. What preparations? You're not quite sure. Davos wasn't sure anyway. Because about that time, he confesses that the hags have gagged him and hogtied him because he wouldn't shut up and kept trying to escape.
Well, good on you, buddy. The escaping part, at least, yes. Shit, do I tell him?
Is there anything in this windmill, like, worth anything? Like, are there any, like, spellbook scrolls or...
Well, I assume as the kids are being cleaned, some of you are searching the windmill. So I will either allow an investigation with advantage or two people to roll separately.
I've got a plus
I can
4.
roll it. I have a +8.
There you go. Let her do it.
Natural 20. Didn't even need the advantage.
Hi.
That's what we like to see.
Okay.
I can see through the walls.
You can see through the walls. You
they
got
blasted a
something
hole
really
in it.
yeah, you can. You really can. And that allows you to see something a little bit extra because of that nat 20. So I'm going to first go into what you find as your group is exploring and tearing through the windmill. Inside that big wardrobe in the corner on the first floor, you find a lot of spell components and stuff. More spell focuses. There's a small amount of vials of elixirs in there. The first elixir is labeled youth. The second one is labeled laughter. The third is labeled mother's milk. The fourth is reddish in color that you recognize to be a healing potion, a greater healing potion. Those are the only things that are actually valuable in the first floor. On the second floor, you find a lantern that you're kind of going around casting detect magic as you walk, because this is a Hags lair. That's always a smart thing. You find a lantern that pings as magical, hanging from a hook next to the actual millstone on the second floor. I assume you know what a millstone is, a big stone that's used for grinding flour. You don't find any wheat in there, but you do find some remnants of bones.
Okay.
On the third floor, next to the cages, you find a mountain of children's clothing, just kind of thrown there. Going through it, some of it is old, some of it is moldy and disgusting, but at least half of it is serviceable. And
I'll prestidigitation some of it up, just so that the kids have a change of clothes when they get out of their baths.
That's exactly what you can do. There's enough clothes that, even though now you have 3 kids, there's a good amount of clothing for each. So that will definitely help them along. And you also do find several backpacks and sacks just throughout the windmill that you could gather up and use if you needed to. On the fourth floor, which the very top, it's basically just a loft at the very top of the highest point of the windmill, where the spoke from the millstone actually connects with the outside wheel. You find a very large bed that could fit 3 people in. Inside there, you find 6 pieces of jewelry that's been stuffed into the mattress itself. This jewelry you estimate probably worth about 25 gold each.
I grab that and set it aside for Danika.
Inside, underneath the pillows on the mattress, you find 3 spell scrolls that you recognize as spell scrolls, but it'll take you a little time to identify.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not least, buried underneath the kitchen floorboard, you find several stones that you can see that you can move and don't have a whole lot of dirt around. You have Urzak come and lift them up, and underneath that you find a small chest that is just a lockbox more than anything else, that is filled to heaping with coin.
I mean, this will help. I don't have Dispel Magic to see if it's because there is some... What is that? There is a spell that makes things look like they're more expensive than they are.
Maybe, but I don't know what it is, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't remember what it is.
Value.
Yeah, distort value.
Possibly. But no, this is just what's there.
About how much?
Well, since it sounds like you're planning on staying here for the night, we'll just kind of move ahead with time a little bit. In total, there are 376 gold pieces, 580 electrum, 1,578 silver pieces, and 379 copper pieces. And yes, I will put that in chat.
Okay.
I'll divide that up on our break.
Yes.
Okay. How much is an electrum piece worth again?
Half a gold, 5 silver.
Okay.
Delphine, I imagine y'all working together. You have time to sit down and cast Identify, so we'll go through these items quickly. The spell scrolls is a spell of clairvoyance, alter self, and ray of sickness. The lantern is a lantern of revealing. The cloak is a cloak of protection. The robe is a robe of useful items. The broom you already recognize as a broom of flying. As you cast the spell to understand the nature of the broom, you are able to divine a little bit of its nature. There is a command word to make the broom fly. You have to say the right words to make the broom activate. However, the spell, the Identify spell itself doesn't reveal the nature of the spell, of what word to use to activate the spell. However, as you're examining it, because you have the time to do so, I'm not going to make you roll for this, you do see that there is an etching on the broom itself. Letters. What languages do you speak?
Elvish, Orc, and Sylvan.
So they are not in
And
the
common.
language that you recognize.
Am I inside?
Can anybody
right
else
now?
read this? I'm sure it's like later in the evening when I'm
So I can,
Identify.
I doubt it's going to be any of these, but I have deep speech, gnomish, and infernal, as well as common.
Unfortunately, it is none of those either.
I didn't figure it would be.
Yeah, Delphine already covered all the languages that I know, so.
Okay.
Dwarven. I've got Draconic, Dwarven, and Halfling on top of the ones they've said, and then I guess Old Barovian, since you said Cog knows that now after being possessed.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, but it is not any of those. Let me take a look at Danika. She had to step away, so I will look at her languages real quick. Now, she has Common, Dwarven, and Elvish, so none of you recognize the language of the carving on the broom.
God, it's Spanish, guys. God, the easiest one. We all could have taken in high school, but we wanted to go for French and be artistic.
Be quirky.
I mean, so it's, I guess the word is spelled out. It's not like maybe a symbol, like it's something we can interpret. But all right, well,
The only thing that's written, the only thing that's on the broom itself is these carved letters.
does Irina recognize it by chance?
She does not.
Last chance. All right, Davos, you got it.
Shit.
Or any of the kids.
Right.
Any of the 3 kids.
Oh yes, the one random kid just happens to know the language. No, I'm afraid not.
I mean, you can't be told no if you don't ask.
Right.
No, it's a good thought, but no, I'm afraid not.
Well, it's a nice broom, I suppose.
Would I have been able to figure out what the vials were filled with during our long stay?
Well, I can tell you. So I can tell you what it looks like. The one labeled youth. The liquid itself appears to be like a golden syrup. The one labeled laughter seems to be kind of a reddish brown liquid that's see-through, almost like oolong tea, almost.
Okay.
The third one, labeled Mother's Milk, is a greenish, milky-looking liquid.
Ew.
No, thank you.
So here's how you investigate a potion. Via
drink-
rules as written. You take a sip. And then you make a check.
No thanks.
So my question is, who's sampling the elixirs to figure out what they do?
Oh my god, I'm gonna try Mother's Milk.
If you want to.
Luck.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I mean,
Well, I mean, you
know.
saw the mother.
I am debating because it's just a sip, right? It's not the whole thing.
I'm fairly certain Mother's Milk is it's poison in other.
No, I wasn't
things.
gonna- I
can't
wasn't gonna
imagine
taste
it's
that
not in
one.
this too. Yes, kid, I am.
But I am also half hag, so it might be something that benefits hag.
Well, I know there's another like fantasy genre. It was a poison. I mean, it might not be in this. I don't know.
I'm gonna
Maybe it was
swirl those
maybe
away.
it might have been fucking Game of Thrones. Where it
I'm
was,
not. I'm not gonna stop anybody who wants to test them, unless it's the children. But Delphine is not gonna risk it right now to figure out what they are.
I mean, fair.
Oh wait. Actually, maybe Vide would be a good one to test some.
You're immune to poison, aren't you?
Maybe.
Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm not immune.
I am
to
gonna
poison,
give
I'm
the-
immune to disease.
I'm gonna definitely give the jewelry and the broom to Danika.
Well, thanks. I'll just hold it for safety.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to make the broom fly yet, but I'll figure it out eventually, I think.
Okay.
Probably.
I'm down for either robe, or the cloak, or the robe. Doesn't matter which.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind that cloak, unless somebody else wants it.
can somebody? I'm sorry, because my boss called, so I couldn't hear some of the things that we got. I caught that because I was looking through the things that popped up, and I got Cloak of Protection, Lantern of Revealing, and what did I miss after that?
Robe of useful items
Okay.
and a lot of gold. Well, a lot of monies.
Items and approximate for the monies.
It's
Oh,
in
you
the
got it on there.
Roll20 chat.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, well, you all can kind of consider together what you want, who gets what. It's entirely up to you. Let's see.
We'll figure that out on break. I mean, I don't want. If either of you want the cloak or the robe, fine. I'm gonna take the spell scroll.
Okay. Well, the kids eventually do get cleaned up. They have some new clothes on. Davos is regaling the other two with a story of how you all fought a bunch of scarecrows in the foggy city of Aldra. And Irina is kind of standing over the children, just keeping her eye on them, keeping to herself while all this has been going on. So,
What do these other two kids think of Davos?
they seem to be listening to him with wide-eyed interest. Like, the older of the two, the boy, seems to be, like, asking questions, but otherwise just really, really intently listening to what's going on. The little girl is just enraptured with Davos's story and just sitting there listening with big, big wide eyes.
We've made him the alpha.
It only took
Pretty
a couple
much.
days.
I guess. So, with that in mind, you all do. You have quite a bit of time. Vide, let's go ahead and just get a crafting check from you. For this is 5th edition, so let me see what you've got.
Show me what you got.
Yeah, what are your proficiencies here? Yeah, I don't know why it didn't transfer over to this sheet, but you did have a Tinker's Tools proficiency. Because that comes with being a gunslinger.
I don't know how to put that.
Also, your mic is really, really low.
Okay. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm adding it for you. There you go. Actually, I put the wrong thing. Sorry. That was me. There you go. So yeah, this is going to be a Tinker's Tools check, Vide. You sitting down, working with Cog to craft this item. So since Cog's helping you, you are going to have advantage on it.
How about a dirty?
Ooh.
Let's go.
Nice.
So, just so you know, this is basically going to be taking you most of the night, but given what you are and how you take your rests, this isn't an issue for you. By the end of the evening and the next morning, you are going to take the two vines, weave them together. You're using some of the equipment that Falderal had given you to bind them together, to use this magical solvent glue that you have. You're taking some scraps of leather that you find in the windmill to wrap around the base of it, creating a sort of handle that you can hold on to. But by the time morning does come, you are going to have yourself a thorn whip, which, for those of you who are familiar with Castlevania, and Castlevania 2, the thorn whip is the first upgrade for your whip.
Nice.
So that's why I included that. That is going to be taking pretty much all night to work on.
Okay. Could you add that on to my thing? 'Cause
Yes, I will add it on over the break.
I tried, but it's only coming up with a spell.
Mm-hmm. The heck? Okay, there you go. I also have on your sheet now on the robe of useful items what the different patches are that you have. So you would actually be able to see the patches on the useful items. So we know what's been going on with Cog and the kids and Vide. We know what's gone on with Delphine for a little bit, identifying all the items and that sort of thing. Urzak, what's been going on with you?
I think after making sure everybody's kind of off doing their own thing and is all right, Urzak kind of steals away for a moment and finds a quiet spot to sit and have a little think.
Okay. Well, you steal off on your own, making your way out from the windmill. It is getting to be dusk by this point. The sun is starting to lower towards the tree line. It's always cloudy in Barovia, so it gets dark fairly quick. But there's at least enough light out that you can make your way without relying on the dark vision that you do have. You start heading down towards those standing stones behind the windmill, the ones that Delphine was so interested in previously. You make your way around, circling the four of them, looking over the ancient carving of the four cities along them, just lost in your own thoughts. Those cities that I've mentioned once before, the carvings on the standing stones, are of four different cities. They look slightly different, and they each depict different seasons: the spring, summer, fall, and winter around those cities. And they're interesting a little bit, but I imagine you, Urzak, have a bit more on your mind than that. So tell us a little bit about what's lingering on your thoughts.
So Urzak thinks a lot about the previous day's events and just kind of everything that's happened since they've landed in Barovia. And this is the first time in a while where they've done something that feels, at least for now, like a real win. He thinks back to the promise he made to Delphine that to take care of these hags and get the vengeance that she wanted on them. And for the most part, I mean, there's still one left. It was Bella, Ophelia, doesn't matter. For the most part, he did it, and it felt good. But there's still more to do. There's Strahd. There's that remaining hag. The people of Jova apparently have killed Ismark. You know, what else is there to do? That's not really something that would have ever come up in his head before. That's not a teaching of the church, but who cares? Walrus isn't here. Even if he was communicating with Urzak, Cog and the talk about the tulpa the other day makes Urzak think maybe that's unnecessary. And it's just a lot of that going on.
You lean against the standing stone of the Falls City and look up towards the sun, hidden away behind the clouds. The sun has always been that symbol of Balrus, that bright, shining starburst. For your order, it was the starburst behind a fist, a clenched fist. But as you watch the sun slowly beginning to descend towards the tree line, you can't help but reflect that, at least here in Barovia, that's kind of an apropos scene. The sun hidden away, and what's all that remains? A fist. In fact, you hold up your hand, fist clenched, up towards the horizon as the sun is dipping away and disappears behind the tops of the trees. And as you stand there, staring at your fist, just that thought lingers in your mind. Holding evil responsible for their actions, no matter what. Is that not just as noble, if not more noble, than serving a deity? At least this seems real. This seems clear. A path, a purpose. Something that, while the Order kind of gave you the idea of, Balrus himself has never shown any sign of giving you a purpose. But now, in this moment, with the feeling of vengeance so well firmly in your grasp, that feels like a purpose. Holding evil responsible, that's a true and noble purpose.
And I think just a little bit to the side of those standing stones, Urzak takes the longsword that was given to him by the Order, the Fist of the Father, and takes the cloak off his back with that insignia on it, and stabs the sword in the ground, hangs the cloak on it, and walks away.
As you're walking away, Urzak, you can't help but feel a lightness in your step and a weight off of your shoulders for what feels like the first time in a long time. It's freeing in a way. And that freedom allows you to find your way back towards the windmill. Danika, what have you been up to while your friends have been working on their own various projects?
Danika is going to be exploring the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be looking for normal foodstuffs to cook everybody something to eat. And some traveling snacks.
Give me an investigation check.
No, that's not my forte, but I sure will try. A 16.
Hey, 16's not bad. There is a chicken coop with 3 chickens in it, and you find in total about half a dozen eggs hidden away underneath them. You can gather that up. You're very much questioning the flour and leave that alone and don't mess with that. But there is some sugar. There are some vegetables here in the windmill that actually seems edible, and so you're able to put together a moderately decent meal along with some of your own rations and supplies that you all have. You bring your meal up to everyone who's kind of gathered a little bit in the third floor, which is really the most open area for you all to rest, and you all sit down together to share a meal. The children are somewhat lively. Davos is certainly entertaining them all and has promised by this point to teach them all the finer points of swordsmanship that he's learned from Urzak. He doesn't know where his sword is, but he's promising they're around somewhere, and he's definitely going to teach them all everything he knows. It's cute, I guess.
It is.
I imagine
It's
he bragged
adorable.
about the time he did some magic too. You know, the magic he did.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's tried a couple times to cast some spells. He says that he hasn't gotten that quite down yet, but he is learning from the master wizard Delphine. Eventually, you do
We're such
all.
great influences.
Yeah, you are.
Before we go to bed,
Uh-huh.
Danika, so how much do we know about this broom of flying? Do we know that it needs a command word? Because I feel like I might have missed something.
Yes.
Okay.
You do know that it does require a command word to fly. You're not sure what the word is, but there is something carved into the broom in a language that none of you know.
Okay. Danika is going to cast Speak with Animals. And she's going to talk with the chicken.
Okay.
And she just...
Yeah. She you cast Speak with Animals and go up and talk to the chickens who are like, what do you want?
I forgot you had speak with animals.
You stole our eggs!
We just borrowed them. For a bit. Danika is going to, she's gonna show the broom to him. And she's gonna be like, do y'all ever remember one of those hags talking to this broom? Did they ever say anything in particular to it?
The chicken thinks to itself for a moment. No.
Danika is gonna look it in the eye, like a death stare, and she's gonna be like, "Are you sure you don't remember? Because those eggs we borrowed, we actually ate them, and that could be you tomorrow."
Make an intimidation check.
Let me find it. A 14.
The chickens go bark, 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 and start flapping their wings at you and go flying off towards the open hole in the wall.
They were in a cage.
No, it's just in a coop.
Isn't the coop technically a cage?
No,
Aren't they cooped up?
not really, no.
Okay, that's it. That's done.
Sorry, the chickens don't speak the language of hags.
That's all I got. Are there any other animals about?
Not really, no.
then that's all I got.
I mean, good thought, but it's a chicken.
But it's a chicken.
But it's a chicken. Well, after Danika finally returns from her deep conversation with the chicken, you all do settle in for a long rest. Do you have any preparations that you want to do before you you go to bed for the night?
I got nothing.
I was gonna say I've said my piece.
Danica's gonna look at everybody and she's gonna go, "Are we all going to the 4th floor and sleeping in that big cuddle puddle bed?"
I mean, I invite you to do so.
I'm not gonna say no.
I'm also not gonna say yes.
What's Vide have to say?
Well, I mean, Vide's gonna be working on his whip for most of the
I
night.
know.
And you know, Vide, when does he ever lay down?
You know what I'm trying to do. That Cog's just gonna find wherever the children are sleeping. He's gonna end up posting up near them just in case, there's some kind of weird hag residual terrifiedness from them in the middle of the night. He can kind of take care of them.
That's fair. The children, along with Irina's help, will take blankets and anything they can find and some bedrolls and make up a small nest for the children to sleep in. Irina tells you all that I will stay up and watch over the children as well. We can both keep watch, Cog.
Got that lantern now. Nobody can sneak up on us.
That is true.
No dark vision unite. Give her a little fist bump,
It does. You do have to put in a pint of oil for it to burn for 6 hours. So if you have any oil, you could absolutely use it. We'll say that you can probably find like 3 vials of oil or 3 pints of oil here in the windmill, so you at least have some fuel for it.
I also apparently have 5 vials of oil.
I know. I remember we found a bunch that we siphoned it off, and everybody's got like 5 or something like that. So, because I've got 5 vials of oil as well. And I try to remember, we might have got met at the house, the murder house. Maybe. I don't remember. Doesn't matter now.
We've got it. That's all that matters.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, hell, they'll take first watch if, well, I guess Vide will be working on his whip.
Okay.
He's good. Cog's good to go.
So you're taking the first watch, Cog. Vide's also taking the second. Who's taking the third?
I suppose I will.
Okay. And who's taking the last?
I will.
I will.
Me and
We'll
Delphine.
take it together.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Hey, there's an outhouse.
Oh my gosh. We could. I still have some spells. We could break up those stones at our last shift.
Before we take a full long rest? Yeah, let's do that.
Let's break some shit.
Hell yeah.
Too bad Urzak doesn't have a hammer.
Oh, wow.
You shut your mouth.
Let's not be presumptuous. I hate myself so much.
We all do. Okay, well, Cog, at taking first watch with your lantern of revealing, give me a perception check.
It's not bad. 13.
13. For the first 2 hours of watch, you do have a little bit of a hard time keeping Davos and the children quiet. They've been cooped up for a long time. The excitement of seeing new people rescue them, the adrenaline has been going, and it does take them a while to kind of calm down. So while you are keeping a watch, you're also like very often like, settle down, be quiet, keep quiet, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of transition walking between the floors. Vide, you probably have to stay down on the first floor to work on your whips, because there's actually a work table and stuff down there. So that's probably where you are, while everyone else is up on the third floor, keep sleeping. Your watch goes by relatively uninteresting. It's quiet. Nothing really sparks your interest. Not even a wolf howling in the distance. So your first 2 hours go by pleasant.
Seems Strahd kept his word. He respects strength. We took this windmill. It's ours now.
Those thoughts are what preoccupies your mind as you head off to bed. Vide is taking the second watch, and we'll say Irina is taking it with him. So Vide, go ahead for your second watch. Make a perception check.
That would be a 12.
Okay. With your 12, the first hour is quiet. You're sitting there working on your whip. Irina comes down and sits down next to you to keep you company. But it isn't long before the exhaustion of the previous evening and the day's activities make the woman slip off to sleep. But you reason that it's been quiet. You're here in a secure location. You have this big hole in the wall, so you can see pretty far around, and you're confident that if anything shows up, you'll spot it. So you continue on, working on your whip as the evening progresses. However, as the second hour begins, there's a voice that you just can barely hear. Vide. At first, you look over at Irina, thinking she's saying something to you. But the young woman's eyes are closed, her breathing is steady. She's asleep. And the voice, now that you're thinking about it, wasn't hers. It was more androgynous, but at the same time, it's familiar to you. Painfully familiar. You get up and walk to the hole in the wall, scanning the area around the windmill. But there's nothing there. The hill is empty. There are no stars in the sky. You can't see too terribly far. And you're about to turn away thinking it was nothing. But then you hear that voice again. Vide. I need you. Vide, come here. The sound is just outside the windmill. What do you do?
I'll probably stand up, kind of walk around a little bit. I'm assuming I still hear it.
You step out of the windmill, walking a little ways down the hill. Vide! Vide, I need you! It's coming from the north.
I think I'll follow a little bit. Like, I'll kind of glance back, but then I'll follow.
You have your lantern in your hand, the lantern of revealing. So you do have some light as you step out. You're shining the light towards the standing stones, but there is nothing there. But that voice, it carries on the wind farther to the north, past the stones. You cross around, circling around the stones, keeping a wary eye out. Give me another perception check. You're looking around. You can hear the voice. It's definitely there. But it's just past your vision. You can't see them. The light, you're shining back and forth. Nobody's out there. But the voice, it's calling to you, and it's so familiar. It's right there on the tip of your tongue. Unable to help yourself, you continue following the voice, making your way past the standing stones towards the woods. We're all disgusted with you.
I'll stop disrupting. I'm sorry.
The closer you get to the woods, the louder the voice is becoming. You continue forward, making your way towards the wooded area. You're shining the lantern, looking for that voice, that so familiar voice. You're not sure what it is you're expecting, but what steps out from behind a tree is familiar to you, though not a sight that you particularly wanted to see. The figure is tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a cloak that covers most of his body, though the chest is covered in a thin linen shirt. Belted at his waist is a sword, and the eyes that look down on you are hard. You see standing before you Strahd.
I should have known.
Turn up your mic.
I mean, I don't know that I have a volume up in my... Oh, wait, I do. I didn't. I gotta open settings. I will get there.
But yes, instead of whatever that voice was that was so familiar, you do see Strahd von Zarovich stepping out from behind a tree, looking down upon you. Your magic lantern illuminates his form, casting him in a pale yellowish light. And his eyes seem to look you up and down in a appraising sort of way, as he says, Vide Sauvage. It is rare when one such as yourself enters my domain through the mists. I recognize you for what you are. I recognized you for what you are the moment I saw you in the Kolyanovich residence. You are reborn.
Yes. Yes, I do believe so.
Strahd walks around you like in a circle, as though he's examining every part of you as he passes.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on, like, I'm gonna follow him as he's walking. Like, not follow, but, you know.
Yeah.
My eyes.
Absolutely. You are a curiosity to me. You are no zombie, and yet you reek of the grave. How can this be?
I mean, I was at one point in a grave. That's about when my memories start. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the nice settings I need to get to.
You good?
Ish.
Well, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
You are more than just one lying in a grave. Do you know what you are?
Oh, I mean, you did just say reborn. I mean, Lord knows I should be pushing daisies right about now. I was 6 feet under, but something must have raised me up. Not quite sure what, but maybe one of these days I'll figure it out.
You are more than merely raised up. You stand there on the precipice between life and death, balancing precariously between. And yet, you are of neither. The Count strides back up to you and casually cups your chin in his hand. He's taller than you are, taller than Urzak too, and he lifts your chin up with a single finger as he looks you left and right. Why didn't you stay dead? You are free from this miserable existence, safe within the cold embrace of death.
Vide kind of does a whole lift to try to get his chin out of his finger.
Yeah, you can.
And I go, I know, yeah. Yeah, I died back then. But what did you expect me to do? Matt, can you mute yours? Okay, sorry. But yeah, what did you expect me to do? Lie there in that grave where the coyotes cry? I don't think so. I stared into that endless void. There's no way I'm going back there if I have a choice. I've seen the other side of living. And I can tell you this. I know heaven is a lie.
The Count seems to weigh your words for a moment before saying, "And yet you have no memory of your past, do you? No notion of why you've returned. The price to flee the void weighs heavily on what few that are able, as I well know. But these things are still in there, still locked away. I can reveal these things, if I so choose. I can draw the memories you thought were long lost." And go ahead.
As he says this, Vide's gonna put his hand in his pocket, kind of start feeling around on that locket that he's got in there. Like he's not gonna pull it out. He's just gonna, put it in his hand, feel around on it.
You see Strahd casting a spell. A wave of a hand, a few muttered incantations, and you feel a pressure weighing on your mind. Do you resist?
For a second, Vide's gonna resist. Just for a second. But as he's... Matt, mute your mic. Sorry, I can't do the echo. But like I said, for a second, he's going to start to resist. But as he's holding on to that locket, he's going to remember he wants to know. He needs to know. That just not knowing who was in this locket, not knowing who he lost. And that voice, God, that voice sounded so familiar. So he's gonna let him.
The sensation you feel next is like 1,000 tiny spiders, all with ice picks for legs, start skittering around your brain. It itches and hurts and feels disconcerting all at the same time, and you can't help but arch your back in discomfort as the fingers of Strahd's mind reach into yours and begin to pull. You drop to your knees in pain, panting. After a minute, an hour, who knows? The vampire is looming over you at this point as he says, "Your name was taken from you when you returned. You were happy and secure in a life you wish to have. You had a home that was taken from you, burned to the ground with the setting sun. You had a family, a spouse, and a child, both of whom were taken from you. before you are left alone in that shallow grave. I have seen that which is hidden from you, Sauvage. And I told you I could reveal these things to you. And I can. However, you cannot get something for nothing. What would you do to learn the names of not only those you lost, but those that were taken from you?
What would I do? Such an open-ended question here.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
I mean, I'd certainly kill for one.
Well, it's funny you should ask. You should say that.
I mean, I think there's almost nothing I wouldn't do to find that out. That's my... I feel like that's my entire point of being at this point.
The vampire crouches downward. And as he does, he opens his hand. A blue flame emerges from his hand and floats there above his palm. But as you gaze into that blue flame, you see a flicker of motion as shapes appear. First in outline, but more details come into focus of two individuals. One, an older-looking human wearing glasses, a big long coat, a foppish hat. The second, a lean man with long blonde hair and angular features, carrying a sword. Strahd says to you, "These two, I believe, you will encounter while exploring my lands. One of them purports himself to be an alchemist, while the other a master swordsman. Kill one of them, and I shall tell you the names of those you have lost. Eliminate both, and I shall reveal the names of those who wronged you. Do this, and I shall enable your revenge."
I will definitely keep this talk in mind as I'm traveling through your world here. I will do my best.
The Count stands up, quenching the flames, leaving you all in just the remaining glow from your lantern. As Strahd turns to go, he looks back at you, still kneeling there in the grass. And he says, "I leave you to contemplate one last thing, Sauvage. As one who has seen the emptiness of the void to another. What does it mean if it all means nothing. And without another word, the Count turns and walks away into the darkness of the night, leaving you alone there.
As Strahd walks away, Vide's gonna wait. Am I still on my knees?
Yeah.
Or did I? Okay. Then I'm gonna pull out that locket and just like still on my knees, just kind of staring deeply into the locket.
Okay. And that's where we're going to leave you all for our break. So we're going to be back in about 10 minutes, folks, and when we return, we will find out what our heroes get up to after their long rest. So it should be interesting. Stay tuned. Howdy, everybody. We are back. And when we last left off, Vide just had an interesting conversation, and he is making his way back to the windmill. As you pass the standing stones again, Vide, you kind of circle around it, but with your passive perception, you notice that Urzak's sword and cloak are gone. They had been stabbed into the center of the rings, and you saw it when you passed. But as you turn around and make your way back again, they're gone. However, you do make your way back to the windmill, enter inside, shake Irina awake and let her know that your watch is over, and you go to rouse the next person who's on watch, which was Urzak. For the sake of brevity, I'll let you know that for the rest of the evening, your last few watches go by unhindered. The night is quiet. Nothing disturbs the windmill. Nothing bothers you all in your sleep. And you all get a long rest. So go ahead and do that on your character sheets.
Yeah.
I gotta do that to Irina real quick. There she goes. Okay.
I just read all the rest of the stuff you guys were typing during my whole thing.
Well, you all wake up the next morning feeling as refreshed as one can be while sleeping in the lair of a group of hags. But you do all feel rested and have completed a long rest. Vide, by this point you have finished your whip. You go down to the main layer and test it a few times and get a few really good cracks, and you feel fairly satisfied with yourself. You've done a good job crafting this weapon with that dirty 20 you had made. You had all gone to bed very early, and you awaken with the rising sun. So with that in mind, the day is yours, Expedition. What do you plan to do?
I will tell them about my encounter of the night. And, theater of the mind, I relay it to you guys. I'm not going to, repeat all that.
Do you hold anything back?
Maybe the part about looking for these guys. maybe I won't say anything about that. As of right now, I'm going to kind of see what that's all about if and when we kind of come across them.
So, everybody, as you're all breaking your morning fast, Vide tells you all about how Strahd called to him in the middle of the night and spoke to him a little bit about, well, his past and stuff like that before leaving once again into the night.
And you're gonna believe him. He's being honest and truthful, above board. You believe him.
I mean, he certainly is able to get into my head. I mean, I don't doubt that. Look, I mean, I haven't told anybody what I am, and he knows.
Well, I mean, he creates creatures like that. He creates undead creatures. I mean, of course he knows what you are if he can see it. He's a master at it. I mean, it's...
Would Vide know that vampires can read minds?
You can make a history or an arcana check.
How about with a 22?
Nice. With a 22, you know that vampires in L'Europa, for the most part, they have a wide range of powers. Really, really old ones can be masters of magic that can do all sorts of things. So yes, absolutely, reading minds is included in that, as are quite a few other abilities. It's well known and well established that a vampire that's powerful enough can do a lot of different things. So reading your mind, like, that's not a question. You know for a fact that's what happened.
And I'm going to say that, look, vampires can read minds. And he knew my house has been burned. And that was definitely one of my memories I've had in my flashbacks.
Yeah, but how about the other stuff that he's just so willingly... I mean, excuse me. Like, we know that we've heard of the gentleman that he's wanting you to kill.
He did not say anything about that.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, you keeping that shit to yourself? I see how you are, you dirty minx.
Just for right now.
It's like,
I'm being truthful.
He's not gonna do this out of the kindness of the heart he doesn't have. I mean, he's got ulterior motives. I mean, even then, I think he might have wanted these hags gone. And he set us up to do it for him. What's he gonna want from you to give you what you want? What if it's to kill Big Green here? Huh? What if he wants Big Green dead? You gonna do that? You gonna kill Delphine? You gonna kill me? If he asked?
Well, clearly there are things I won't do for him.
Are there?
Oh yeah. And I mean, really,
we've known each other for a couple of weeks. I'm not saying you will, but I mean, shouldn't have anything tying yourself really to us, except for the fact that we are your current companions. But I mean, I'm not saying you will. I'm not saying you won't, because I don't know. Just take what he's saying with the biggest grain of salt you can ever imagine.
I definitely will. And I mean, as it stands, I don't bleed. I'll never age. Near as I can tell, I'm never going to feel the embrace of the grave again. I'm never going to see them again. So, and Vide pulls out his gun, does a little cool spin thing. Might as well tear up the world until I can get my revenge. If Strahd and his Barovia are going to stand in my way, I'll tear that up too. I certainly would hope that you guys would stand by my side as I do this. And I certainly would not hurt you guys.
I don't know. I seem to remember you had an episode of some sorts and you shot me. Yeah, you thought I forgot, didn't you?
3 days ago.
You thought I forgot. Yeah, in game it was like a couple days ago, but out of game it was months ago.
It was like almost a year ago.
Yeah,
Joe didn't
like
forget.
about 4 or 5 days ago, I think at most.
Joe didn't forget. Skog didn't forget either. Because there was a lot of halfling hate talk from Cog.
Are we bringing that arc back again?
Yeah, I was saying that took up a lot of time.
That was so much free time.
So just, I'm not. I mean, he's very.
I will not willingly, knowingly, on purposely.
Maybe we can get the information from him in a way that doesn't involve you having to compromise the ideals you've built for yourself now. Who you were before, that's not you anymore. You're a different individual now. So, I mean, I know you want to know those things. Everybody, who wouldn't? But what if that's a completely different personality as to what you are now? What would you do with that information?
I mean, to be fair, yes, that is a possibility. But at the very least, I want to know. I mean, I would. I need to know. And sure, it may mean nothing, but at the same time, I have nothing as it is. So maybe it'll add up to something.
Well, I guess we'll find out when things come. I mean, I'd want to know too. But you know what? Maybe this Abbey guy, the leader of the Abbey, maybe he can help too.
Perhaps that is definitely another
Yeah,
avenue that we could take.
We'll figure it out. I got my eye on you, that's all I'm saying. I can still feel the hole in me, even though we healed it. It's still in my heart.
I shot you in the foot.
I don't remember where the shot was.
I think it was in the shoulder, actually.
Yeah. Just like...
I'm gonna place my hand on the shoulder that I accidentally shot.
Ow!
Sorry, it's bringing back old memories. 4 days ago. Didn't mean to
4
jump
days
like
in Barovia
that.
is an eternity.
Ain't that the truth?
About how long have we been doing this? Like 8-9 months?
And as you're walking, after you finish this conversation and Cog kind of walks away, I just, in my heart, imagine the scene turning to Vide, who's got his fingers up in a gun and just kind of like doing this to Cog's back.
Yeah, I bet.
I'll do it again.
Okay, Expedition, but we still haven't decided what we're going to do today. The Sauvage Road isn't too far from the windmill, which you have talked about burning down and trying to blow up those stones. Which reminds me, Danika and Delphine, did you go and shatter those standing stones before during your watch?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would let Urzak know that his sword and cape went missing.
What? It hasn't even
Cape,
been like
cloak,
it hasn't even been like 12 hours. Damn looters.
Unfortunately, you can't look for clues because Danika and Delphine blew the fuck out of the standing stones, and they're now just shattered all over the place, just jagged rock everywhere.
I suppose, my watch was before theirs.
And after Vide's, so it was already there and gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would have told you guys like after all the watches.
Yeah, the next morning you'd have told that. So Urzak goes running out of the windmill just to see shattered everywhere.
It's supposed to be like a poignant thing. Whatever. It's fine. It's done.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
On the road to Vero, yes. It's gonna take us the whole day on the road to get there. Find a place to hole up for the night. Then it should be another day to Aljiba.
Indeed it is. Well, let's see what kind of day you're having.
Oh boy.
Are you traveling at a slow pace, a normal pace, or a fast pace? I mean, imagine you got these kids with you, so I don't know how well you're going to travel at a fast pace regardless.
Probably
Yeah, no,
normal.
Get
yeah,
out
I
the
was gonna say
disc.
normal. Oh, ooh, this.
I will have the disc out.
Oh, absolutely. The three kids will definitely ride on your disc, and Davos is going to explain to them how to do it, and he's like standing up and waving his arms about, just conducting this whole ritual that you do, and then climbs up on it and is all just like, heck yeah, this is me. I do this all the time, and the kids are somewhat loud as you're all traveling, chattering away, doing what they do. Come on, you know this is what's happening. Why even argue with it?
Well, it's three kids. I mean,
Yeah.
Anybody against hog tying and gagging them?
It seemed to work for the hags. I think at periodic points, Urzak just sits and reminds Davos what happened the last time he was too loud.
Yes, a bunch of monsters showed up, and then you beat them all to a pulp, and we continued on with our adventure.
And you got kidnapped?
I'm gonna cast mage. I'm gonna cast mage armor above myself.
I'm gonna make sure my gun's loaded. And
Let's see. Do I have any spells I can cast on myself?
Okay. So basically, every 2 hours of travel, we're going to be making a dice roll. Fortunately, you are on the road, which helps your odds. The children are the children. It lowers them slightly. I need somebody, I don't care whom, to roll a d20.
Ooh. Who hasn't rolled anything yet today? Has everybody gotten to roll something?
Sure.
I'm gonna do it. Here we go. 9.
9. Your first few hours go by uneventful. The children are chattering. You're all keeping a watch out in a very paranoid way. Delphine's kind of in the lead because she's the one guiding the disc, and you all are just fanned around it in a very defensive pattern. But for the first few hours, goes by uneventfully. You can move yourself 6 spaces. Give me another d20.
taking the road.
Yeah.
Well, we got the next two anyways.
Okay, well, I'm going to take the first one there. Delphine, roll me a d12 and a d8. And then roll me a d2. As you're making your way through the next 2 hours of travel, Davos points up and says, "Look at that bird. It's been circling around us for the last 30 minutes. You all look up to see a large black bird, a raven, flying up just at the tree line. The bird looks down at you and caws in a very loud voice before flying ahead and landing on a branch. What do you do?
Kind of seems like it's trying to get our attention, guys.
It does kinda, yeah.
How far? I'm sorry.
Bird's trying to talk to us. You're up.
Danika speaks with animals.
Yeah!
I was about to ask if I could do an insight on it to see what its intentions are.
I feel like the last time we talked to a raven, it didn't go well. But
It didn't.
nothing goes well here, so who gives a shit?
Right.
We couldn't hear you, Matt.
Go ahead and roll your insight check, Vide.
13?
It's definitely trying to get your attention. Like, it kind of hops there a little bit on the branch, and it's bobbing its head, and it caws at you one more time as Danika begins casting her spell. Once your spell is cast, you look up at the raven, who's still screaming at you, and you hear in its voice, "Danger! Danger! Danger ahead!"
Well, what's ahead? What's dangerous?
The winery! The winery was attacked!
Attacked by what?
The raven flies down and lands on a nearby stump. It looks at you and cocks its head and says, "Hag! The Lysaga! The Lysaga and her barbarians! Winery's damaged! Partially burned!"
Is anybody, Natalie, Danika is going to relay the message. I just
From
to
heavens
everybody.
above.
Yeah, from the heavens above. Did you see anybody, or did you see anybody still, anybody still alive, anybody getting away?
Few survived! Ask at the Blue Water Inn! They know more! Ask at the inn! And then it begins flapping its wings hard, circling up into the air once again, screaming, "Danger! Ask at the inn!"
Danika's getting yelled back. Thank you! Where's the inn?
The raven caws at you one last time as it's flapping away and begins heading up the horizon to the west.
Well, there's our answer, I suppose.
Well, y'all, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna help?
Well, we were trying to help them already, and then we got sidetracked. So I mean, it's still on the list of priorities.
We just got to get these. Now that there's 3 kids, there's
Yeah,
bad
there
enough
is
with
no way
one.
we can travel with 3 kids for very long.
You all
There's
look
no way we can
to
keep all 3 of them safe.
you all look at the 3 kids sitting there on the disc, and Davos is like, "You see, I told you, they talk to the animals and they get information and they go and kill the monsters. It is so cool. We all get to learn how to be monster hunters."
Now, don't get ahead of yourself, kid.
Urzak has to keep, like, mentally reminding himself, it's like, you saved this child, he's your responsibility. You're happy you saved this child, he's your responsibility.
We are good people.
We are good people.
Danika just
Despite
kind of
us, we're
laughs
still
and
good people.
Danika just kind of laughs and then she caws at the kids in her crow language.
So technically it's just magic that makes you able to communicate, so you just turn and start cawing. Caw! 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 And the kids are like, "What the fuck?"
That makes it even better.
And then it gets awkward and quiet really quick.
Hey, we figured out how to shut them up.
The hat?
Follow V for more life hacks.
Well, you continue on your journey, I assume, after that odd encounter with the raven.
How many more?
3 more.
1, 2, 3.
Make me another D20. Oh, wait a minute. No, you already rolled one.
You would take
Never
my
mind.
14?
Yeah, I'm taking the 14. Never mind. Sorry. Next 2 hours go by, no issue whatsoever with your 14. You're all watching the sky at this point, looking for more ravens. They swoop down and give you random bits of information. But unlike the metagaming raven, no others pop up unannounced. Give me another D20 roll.
Is that another 6 spaces?
Yes, another 6 spaces.
This is right here.
Take that 16 first.
Yeah, we'll take that sweet 16 first. Good news is for the next leg of your journey, nothing else pops up and bothers you. You make it towards the walled gates of Veros. As the old Sauvage road meanders into a valley watched over by dark, brooding mountains to the north and south, you all see that the woods begin to recede, revealing a sullen mountain berg surrounded by a wooden palisade or wall. It's getting late in the evening by this point. The sun is just beginning to set once again over the horizon. And a thick fog is beginning to press up against this wall, as though looking for a way inside and hoping to catch the town aslumber. The gravel road beneath your feet ends at a sturdy set of iron gates, where a pair of shadowy figures stands behind them inside the town. Planted in the ground and flanking the road outside the gates are a dozen pikes with wolves' heads impaled upon them, making a very grim and grisly scene for you all and the children you're transporting to witness. As your group steps up towards the gate, you see two long, jagged spear points pushed through the bars of the gate in your direction. You hear a voice behind them, though, with the fog and the torchlight from the other side, it's difficult to make out their features. But the voices behind them speak in the Barovian accent of common. Oi there, who are you?
Oh my god. We're travelers, sir. Who are you?
We are the ones who guard this town. We do not let newcomers show up in the middle of the night, and it's far too close to dark.
Wow. I mean, a bird held us up before. Otherwise, we would have been here just in time. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Make a really weird diplomacy check.
I'm just going to burn it because we're close. I'm burning my nat 20.
There you go.
And so I'm just going to flood out time. I was like, listen, there was a bird. He was saying some shit. Some things got said in anger. We got lost. And now we're here. I don't know what the fuck you want me to say, dude. I can't turn the sun back. And it's always dark here. What are you talking about? He's just going full sass. He's had himself a day.
The two shadowy figures behind the gate look at one another, and then the one says, "Oh, those birds. Yeah, those... You never know when you see a were-raven coming out and talking shit to you."
I'm sorry, what?
Were-ravens, they're all everywhere. Horrible things.
I was telling you guys the birds weren't real. Those aren't real birds. It's a conspiracy, I swear.
Oh, you've heard that the birds aren't real. Yes, absolutely. Get in here. It's good to have some kindred minds entering into our
Barovia
town.
is flat. And this is all he says as he walks in.
As the gates open, you just proclaim loudly that Barovia is flat, motherfuckers. As the entire area, the scene around you, you're surrounded by fucking mountains, comes into view as we all pan out away from our heroes entering into Veros. And I feel like that's probably a good place to end things for this evening.
Yeah, if I didn't use that 20, I have a feel that's going to be a pain-in-the-ass conversation.
That probably would have been a pain-in-the-ass conversation. But
shit on spikes, and then yeah.
But damn it, birds aren't real, and that spoke to these guards, and that got you in. Well done, everybody. And thank you to everyone who watched this evening. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. Tune in next time when our heroes enter into the walled city of Veros for the first time. We're at an interesting point in the campaign, and I'm very excited to see what they all get up into. As always, we go around the table and have everybody tell us who they are and where we can find them on the internet. And since, Joe, you're the one who did the recap, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Well, I am Joe. I'm Corwan Oliver Goodwood. Mondays, every other Monday, typically you can find our new campaign, our Sagas campaign, Aether Shanties, where I am Zolos Vonneguth. But this coming Monday, we get to finally wrap up it was about 3.5 years, I think we almost put into that, of the Fab 5 campaign. And so I get to be Blood from a Stone one more time. At least one more time. Maybe one shots, we don't know.
Never know.
But other than that, I am at Blood from a Stone on Twitter.
Right on. Natalie, you go next.
Hi, I'm Natalie. You'll find me here and only here every other Wednesday playing Danika on Random Rhapsody. That's it. I'm sorry. That's all I got.
Fair enough. Dyto, you're next.
Hello, I'm Dyto. You can find me online at Dyto11. You can find me here on City every Wednesday playing Curse of Strahd, and also every other Monday. That's not the week I'm doing. I will be doing Ether Tours. If not, you can catch me over on Lost Caravan. That's where I usually do most of my stuff.
Absolutely. Marty, you're next.
Hey, I'm Marty. You can find me here every other week on Sonnet of Blood. You can also find me on the Bard Rock Network, where I do truly too many things. I guest on Bard Rock Cafe. I have my own 3 of my own shows: College of Whispers, Wayfaring Strangers, Monster Cafe. If you like music, check out Winter Wayfarer. We don't have anything new announced right now, but new stuff is coming, and we have a show on Saturday. If you're in my area, you've probably seen it on my Facebook. That's it.
Right on. Brandie, you're next.
Hi, I'm Brandie. You can find me here every other Wednesday playing Curse of Strahd. And then every other Monday with Dyto. And I'm playing oh crap,
Mako.
Mako. Wow, I blinked on her name. I'll be playing Mako in the Aether Tech Wars. I'm on the socials as at River Dragon 82. That's River with a Y. I'm not really on there much, but go look at my pup.
Well, as always, I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM here on the Random Rhapsody Network. You can always find me on the tweets and the instas and the blue sky as at Scruffy Wanderer. You can always find me here every Monday and Wednesday GMing our campaigns here on the network. This month, you can also find me on the 28th over on Lost Caravan RPG, where I'm going to be playing some Pathfinder, and I'm resurrecting a curmudgeonly wizard that hasn't been on the air before, but is one of my favorite characters to play, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. Other than that, I just want to say to everyone, thank you very much for watching this evening. We absolutely appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. If you enjoy our content and want to help support the show, you can do so by, of course, liking, following, subscribing on whatever platform you're watching us on. That always helps us out, or leave us a comment in the on our stuff. We appreciate that as well. We also have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/Random Rhapsody, where if you really want to help support the show and kind of be involved in it, that gets you into our Discord and gives you a few other cool features. So go check that out as well. So, on behalf of everyone here in Random Rhapsody and everyone in the Conclave Expedition, I just want to say thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, may you live until you die.
Until you die.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.